So this is an old Linde CM45 model. It's a track cutter. I think you can also weld with it. You can do single or double cutters if you wanted to. This only ever had an oxy fuel cutter on it sometime long before my time. And they quit using this at work, and there was some issue with the governor, and at least what I thought. I don't remember. They said there was why they replaced it. That might have been part of it. Seems they had an issue with a lot of these things. People would start a cut, the cut would finish, and they just leave this thing keep running, and the thing would fall off the track or table or whatever they were doing. This is an engage and disengage lever for the drive. Governor speed. I tore the thing apart trying to figure out the governor, and the issue there, because it was like a run, but it was on running like really high speed, and then when it don't need speed, you can slow it down. It's like you had to really turn this thing this way, and it would just like start binding, and then it kind of smelled hot, and something didn't seem right. So I put the cover on the bottom of this. Unfortunately, you can't really show them a whole lot now. There wasn't a whole lot to it. There's power input. There's a potentiometer in there that's in line with the power coming in before it goes to the motor. This switch here is actually after the motor, after the field windings, and this forward reverse thing that is actually hooked to the armature. And then the back here there's they called it a eddy current governor. I never heard of that before. I thought it was they had a couple contacts and brushes in there. Not only brushes, just a couple contacts. In contact strips, and with this weird brass looking thing with balls on it and a spring. I couldn't really figure out what they were doing. I thought maybe they thought maybe they had two contacts and then like a third contact over here that would hit the brass thing and then do something. Because I was thinking like eddy current, like it was inducing electric current in that brass thing, sort of like a brake, and it was slowing it down. It apparently does something with the windings, and that's just like a governor. The kind of like a normal governor on any motor that activates the winding at a certain RPM. This has a setting. It goes from, seems kind of weird they use letters instead of numbers, but A is slowest, and these screws are supposed to be some kind of stop. I just put that one in. I got to find another one, and there was a few adjustments in here. There's like a contact strip with the two governor contacts on it. Goes like that. And then there's like a third piece in between them. Can't really describe with my fingers very well, but it has like a slot in that piece. And that slot determines kind of where this thing hits. And I figured it seemed like it was really far in, so I pulled that out a little bit, and I figured I'll give it a little more play, just to compensate with this thing here, because this is an adjustment here to this big screw, and that's just a lock nut for it. And I just took a wild guess and moved that internal spacer a little bit, and while I was in there in the governor, I had doubts because all the troubleshooting guys, they said, check the potentiometer, check the condenser, check the motor, this and that. Everything looked fine, but the speed was like, this doesn't work right. And ended up when I pulled the governor contacts out, I just look out to the happen and accidentally look at them. And there was a big chunk stuck on one of them. And it's chunk missing off the other one. That was like at some point they welded together apparently. And then broke loose, and so I can't really replace those anymore without getting the whole custom assembly. I don't even know if you can get that anymore. So I just took a file, ground that bad spot down, made it flush, They rotate them about 180 degrees, so the bad spot was kind of towards the back where they're not going to make as much of a contact, at least at first. And played with this a little bit. It was a little bit slow, and then tweaked this knob a little bit here. It's chewed up because I had to really break it loose. And just adjusting this a little bit back and forth, and then I got it just so that it would just run when it was set on A, and they're giving me my base speed about, I think they said 4 inches a minute, and it'll go up to 30 inches a minute. So, and up here, they cleaned this up because it was seized up, and let's loosen that too. I guess they cut an angle, or I don't know what. Anyway, turn this knob, removes the rail in or out. That's where you head the torch, or you could put a welder there. I think you could put a plasma too on these with a different fitting. One of the pictures in the manual showed something with a automated TIG welder. I'm not sure how they were feeding the filler wire in with that, but unless they were doing autogenous TIG with it. So let's see how this thing goes. That's A. Fairly slow, as you can see. B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. And that's as high as it goes. That's about 30 inches a minute. And then stop. And then you can reverse.